Hi there, Mr. Holcomb here with another episode of Math Behind the Modules. This is lesson 13, finding equivalent ratios given the total quantities. So this example says a group of 6 hikers are preparing for a 1-week trip. All of the group supplies will be carried by the hikers in backpacks. The leader decides that each hiker will carry backpack that is the same fraction of weight to all other hikers' weights. This means the heaviest hiker would carry the heaviest loads, the lightest hiker would carry the least. The table below shows the weights of each hiker and the weights of the backpack. The first thing I'm going to do before I answer any of these questions is I'm going to convert this all into ounces. So I am going to open my calculator. Okay, so here's my calculator. So what I want to do is I want to find out how many ounces this is. I could just do it the long way, but I'm just going to save time for the video. 152 times 16 ounces per pound is 2,432, and then I have to add this 4 ounces here, plus 4 ounces is 2,436 ounces. 2,436. Okay, now I'm going to do the same for the rest. So I go back to my calculator, and 107 pounds times 16 ounces is 1,712, and then I'm going to add 10 to that, so it's 1,722 ounces. Back to my calculator, 129 pounds times 16 ounces per pound gives me 2,064 ounces, plus the 15 ounces. So that's 2,079 ounces. Okay, and then finally 68 pounds, 4 ounces is 68 times 16 plus 4. That's 1,092 ounces. Okay, so there's our lightweight, so he's carrying the least amount of supplies. Okay. 14 pounds times 16 ounces is 224 plus 8 is 232. Let me change colors for these. So this is going to be 232 ounces. 10 pounds is 160 ounces plus 4. I can do that one in my head. 164 ounces. 8 pounds times 16 plus 12 is 140 ounces, and 10 pounds is 160 ounces. 10 times 16. Alright, so I've converted everything into ounces. Now the next thing I want to do is, let's represent the hiker's weight as X, and represent the backpacker's weight as Y. So the total weight is going to be the hiker's weight plus Y, the backpack weight. So it's X plus Y. I'm going to do this in ounces. So if I do that, it's 6 plus 2 is 8. 3 plus 3 is 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. And then the 2,000 out front. So it's 2,668 ounces is the total weight. Okay, and it says weight pounds, so we're going to convert that out. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 1 plus 7 is 8. And then the 1 out in front. I can't do any more totals because I don't know y's and I don't know the x's here, so that's the next thing we need to find. So I need to know what my k is going to be. So we have the equation k equals y divided by x. So I'm going to take 232 divided by, okay, so that's my y, 232 divided by my x, 2436. Go down to my calculator, and 232 divide 2436, and I want that as a fraction. is 221. Okay, so that's my K. 2 divided by 21. All right? So if we have the equation y equals kx, and we are trying to find y, right here, these are blank, those are y's, and I know it equals 2 over 21 times my x, which is 2079. So now I'm going to do that on my calculator. So that is going to be 2 divided by 21 times 2079. And that is 198. Okay, so I'm going to come over here. And this is 198. Okay? All right, so then I'm going to clear this. And then I'm going to plug in 1092 here. $1,092, okay, so I'm plugging in this x over here, y equals k times our x, so it's going to be 2 divided by 21 times 1092, and it's 104. Okay, so now if I go up here and add these now, 9 and 8 is 17, carry the 1. 9 and 1 is 10, plus 7 is 17, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 0 is 2, and then the 2. Okay, 4 plus 2 is 6. 0 plus 9 is 9. 1 plus 0 is 1, and then that 1 out in front plus nothing in front is 1196. Great, okay. So, that done. Now we need to get rid of all this. Don't need this anymore. Now we have to find x's. So let me explain that in the equation. If we have y equals kx, and we want x by itself, we're going to divide by k. If we divide one side by k, we divide the other. These k's cancel, and we get k equals y, or x equals y over k. So I know a y, I know a k, so I'm going to take my y, change to that color, 140, divided by 2 over 21, which equals 140 times 21 over 2. Okay, well that's going to reduce to 70. So it's 70 times 21, which is 200 and 21 times 70, 0, 7, 1, 4, 7, 1,470. Okay, so, and then you want to check, see if this makes sense. 1,470 is more than 1,092, and 140 is more than 104, so yes, this person's heavier and they're carrying more weight. And then there's someone up here heavier, 1,700, and 164 is what they're carrying, and that's more, so that makes sense. The heavier person is carrying more. Okay, so now I've got to do one last calculation to finish this table. So we're using this equation again. So we're going to take y, 160, divided by k, which is 2 over 21, which is equivalent to 160 times the reciprocal of our denominator. And the 2 will cancel the 160 and make that 80. So I want 21 times 80 is 1,680. And then we add. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 4 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6, and then the 1 out in front. And then finally 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 8 is 14. Carry the 1, that's a 2. 2 plus 6 is 8, and then we have a 1 out in front. And there we have the table filled in. Now what we need to do is convert it to what the table says to do. So let me get this out of the way. Okay. It says total weight pounds. So now I need to take that 2,668 and divide it by 16. That's how many ounces in a pound. These are ounces. 2,668 ounces divided by 12 equals 222 1/3. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it's 222 pounds. And 1/3 of a pound, and there's 16 ounces. 1/3 of 16. What goes into 16 3 times? How many ounces is that? 1/3 of a pound. So 5 times 3 is 15 and 1/3. So 222 pounds and 5 1/3 ounces. Okay? We're going to add all of those up and change those. I will not take the time to do that. All right. Let me just check something out. 2, 4, 3, 6 plus 2, 3, 2, enter. 2668 divided by 16. 166.75. Oh, I divided by 12. I'm sorry. I knew there was something wrong when I had a fraction. So this is not correct. It's 166 3/4 of a pound. So my answer is 166 3/4. 166 pounds and 3/4 of a pound is 16 times 3/4. Well, the 4 would make that 4, and 4 times 3 is 12 ounces. Okay, that's better. When I got a fraction of an ounce, that makes no sense because these are whole ounces. Okay, 166 pounds, 12 ounces. Divided by 12 instead of 6. Okay, so there's that example. Example 2. When a business buys a fast food franchise, it's buying the recipes at every restaurant will use the same name. For example, all pizzeria specialty house restaurants have different owners, but they must all use the same recipes for their pizza, sauce, bread, etc. You're now working with your local pizzeria specialty house restaurant. Listed below are the amounts of meat used for one meat lover's pizza. Okay, so the key there is one meat lover's pizza. There is a 1/4 cup of sausage, 1/3 cup of pepperoni, 1/6 cup of bacon, 1/8 cup of ham, 1/8 cup of beef. What's the total amount of toppings used on each meat lover's pizza? Well, we have 8s here, we have 6s here. We have to get a common denominator if we're going to add. So 24 is going to be our denominator that's going to be common. So the first thing I need to do is make 1/4 is times 6 is 6 over 24. 1/3 is 3 times 8 is 24, so 8 times 1 is 8 24ths. So if I have a denominator of 24 here, 6 times 4 is 24, 4 times 1 is 4, and then if I have 24 here, well, I did 8 here, 8 times 3 is 24, so that's going to be 3 24ths, and then 8 again, that's going to be another 3 24ths. So if I take 24 as my denominator, 24, add the numerators, 8 and 6 is 14, and 4 is 18, and 3 is 21, and 3 is 24. Well, that's 24 24ths, which equals 1 whole cup. Okay, so that's the first thing we had to know. How many cups of meat are on the meat lover's pizza? And it totals 1 cup. The meat must be mixed using the ratios to ensure that customers receive the same great tasting meat lovers from every pizzeria specialty house restaurant nationwide. So if I went into a pizzeria specialty house restaurant in New York State, I would get the same exact pizza as I would if I walked into one in California, because they come from the same manufacturer, the food comes from the same warehouse, and if they use the same measurements, the pizza will be identical. The table below shows 3 different orders of meat lovers pizzas on the night of the professional football championship game, using the amounts of total for one pizza given above. Fill in every row and column of the table so the mixture tastes the same. So we need to fill this in. So we got to keep in mind that we're using 1 full cup per pizza. All right. So first thing I look at is sausage peak and this one here. Order number 1. Okay, so we're going vertical. Order number 1, they ordered enough pizzas for 1 cup of sausage. Well, if we have a 1/4 cup of sausage on 1 pizza, I need 4 pizzas. 4 times 1/4 is 1. I need 4 pizzas. Okay? And since I just said K, that is my K. K equals 4. In other words, we ordered 4 pizzas to get this cup of sausage. 1/4 times 4 is 1. So in that case, we're going to multiply all of these by 4. So 4 times 1/3 is 4/3, or 1 1/3 pepperoni. Okay. And bacon, if I multiply that by 4, that's 4/6, and that reduces to 2/3. And then beef, or ham was already done, 1/2, so let's check that. 4 times 1/8 is 1/2. 4/8 is 1/2. So obviously if ham and beef are equal, then we're going to do 1/2 there. So total cups would be, well, it better add up to this, because if we order 4 pizzas and 1 pizza has 1 cup, 1 plus 1 1/3 is 2 1/3, plus 2/3 is 3, 3 1/2, and another 1/2 is definitely 4. Okay. So now let's do the same for the other 2 pizza orders. So here is our known. We know order 2 had 1 cup of bacon. So I'm going to erase this now. We have to find our K. And the easiest way to do that is just to ask yourself, 1 cup of bacon. Well, if I have 1 cup of bacon, what do I have? Multiply 1/6 by to get 1, and it is 6. So now for order number 2, K equals 6. So this better come out to be 6 when I'm done. So if I multiply all of these by 6, because that is our constant, that is our how many pizzas we ordered, 6/4 is 1 1/2, 3 halves, or 1 1/2. Pepperoni, 6 times 1/3 is 6/3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay. Ham, 6 times 1/8 is 6/8. That reduces to 3/4. And since ham and beef have the same amount, we just add them up. So 1 1/2 plus 2 is 3 1/2, plus 1 is 4 1/2. 5 1/4 plus 3/4 is definitely 6. Okay, so finally, our last order, our last house, pick any known that we have, which is 3, and that was pepperoni. So I'm going to come up here now and erase this. And now we're doing pepperoni, which is right here, and we have 3. Okay, I don't want to write 3 there because we have to write down what we're going to multiply by. If 1/3 is 1 and we have 3 cups, well, that means I've got 9 pizzas. 9 times 1/3 is 3. So if I multiply that by 9, and that by 9, and that, and that, this party ordered 9 pizzas. So my total is going to be 9. And then 9/4, 9 divided by 4 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. And 1/4 is 9/4. Bacon, 9 divided by 6. Well, 3 will go into 9 3 times, 6 2 times, 3 halves, or 1 1/2. And then ham is going to be the same as down here, because it's supposed to be. So 1 1/8 plus 1 1/8 is 2 1/4, plus 1 1/2 is 3 3/4, plus the quarters 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it did come out to be 9. Okay, so now here's the next one. The exercise. The table below shows 6 different size pans that could be used to make macaroni and cheese. If the ingredients stays the same, how might the recipe be altered to account for different sized pans? Okay, if the pan's not big enough, food's going to overflow all over the stove, make a mess, burn, and all that good stuff. So, I'm going to call this X, call this Y, and pan size in cups would be X plus Y, okay? Noodles plus cheese has to fit in the pan, so we add. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is look at something that we know both values, which is right here, 3/4 and 3. Alright? So, we have an X, we have a Y. We need K. K equals Y over X. And Y is 3/4. And X is 3. Think of 3 as 3 over 1. When we multiply by the reciprocal, so it's 3/4 times 1/3, 3's cancel, and I'm left with 1/4. And that is my K. And we need to check that. 3 times 1/4 is 3/4. That's true. So, if I'm going this way, I multiply by 1/4. And then down here, if I'm going this way, I've got to multiply by the reciprocal, 4. So 1/4 times 4 is 1, because 1 times 1/4 is 1/4. So when I'm going from left to right, X to Y, I'm going to multiply by 1/4. If I know Y and have to go left to X, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of our K, which is 4. Alright, so now I take 2/3 cups noodles and I multiply it by 1/4. So to find Y, I take 2/3 times 1/4, which equals, 2 becomes that, and it becomes 1 over 6. So this is 1/6. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16 thirds, times my K, 1/4. This 4 and that 16 cancel and become 4, and we have 4/3 times 1, which is 4/3. So this is 1 1/3, or 4/3. Okay? Now the ratio is 1/4, so this one we can kind of do in our head. If we have 4 cups here and 1 here, 4 times 1/4 is 1, and 4 plus 1 is 5. But here's where the trickiest part of this problem is. If this is X, alright, so let me try to explain when you don't know X or Y, but you have K. This is X, right? We're going to call that X. If we don't know it, let's just call it X. And this is Y. But Y equals K times X. So Y equals 1/4 of X. So if I just get rid of this equation, Y equals, and just do this, then I have an X and I have a 1/4 X that totals 5 5/8. Well, this is 1X and this is 1/4 more of an X. So 1X plus 1/4 X equals 1 1/4 X. Okay, that's 3 here. Let me erase it. So that's 1 1/4 X. We're just adding an X and 1/4 of it. Okay, 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So I'm going to turn that into a improper fraction. 5/4 X. 5/4 X equals this. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 5 is 45, over 8. And to get rid of this, let me change colors. I need to multiply by 4 over 5 on both sides, because 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 4 is 20, and that cancels and gives us x. And then I'm going to do the same over here. Times 4 over 5. 5 will go into 45. 9 times 4 will go into 8 2 times. So our answer is 9 halves, which is 4 and a half. All right. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to erase that because it's 1x, and 1x is 4 and a half. And I'm going to erase this because that's a quarter of that x. Okay, so I'm going to take this 9 halves. 9 halves is here. I'm going to multiply it by a quarter to get y. 9 times 1, 4 times 2, which is 1 and 1/8. So 4 and a half, or 4 and 4/8, plus 1 and 1/8 is 5 and 5/8. Then I come up here and add these, and we're done. 3 plus 3/4 is 3 3/4. 1 plus a quarter is 1 1/4. 2/3 plus 1/6, well, this is 4/6, plus 1/6 is 5/6. 5 times 3, that's 5 1/3 plus another third. That is 5 2/3. Okay, and we're done. That is the exercise for that example. Okay, this was quite a lengthy process, obviously, 26 minutes in this video, so I'm going to stop now, go do your homework.